4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, 4:30, 4:45, I'm doing some sort of cardio. Open these garage doors, it's still dark outside. I do this and then I'll have breakfast and then I will go do all my strength and conditioning training at a gym for about an hour. And then I'll go to set. We all average probably about 5 hours of sleep.
It's 4:45 a.m. It's still dark outside. Look at that, the lights just went out and I'm getting ready to kill this AM cardio. You can't even see me, but it's gonna be so good, it's bad. Focus!
If you do anything, you never want to do anything half-assed, especially when it comes to your training. Get in, be intense, execute on it, and then get out. For a lot of guys out there, and I was certainly one of those guys, in my 20s, I thought I had all the answers, didn't know shit. By the way, in my 30s, I'm still trying to find myself, as a lot of guys are out there. Hopefully when you hit your 40s, you're hitting a nice stride. If I'm gonna do it, I need to do this job right, I need to stay focused on it, and I need to give the best effort I possibly can.
We live down here in South Florida, it's hurricane season. Focus! But when it's time to go to the gym, we gotta get to the gym. And there ain't no stopping us.
It's like I'm gonna be the baddest motherfucker walking it.
All right, empty gym, the way we like it. It's Sunday, just finished my warm-up. This pain ought to be fun. Focus! I work out twice before everyone wakes up. All right, workout number 2. I'm out working all my competition. All right, Saturday afternoon, empty gym, the way we like it. It's leg day, which means it's gonna be sweaty, painful, and fun. So how did I get here? By being the hardest worker in the room.
Now it's time to see who has a heart. Now is the time to prove to yourselves and prove to everyone out there you are somebody. You are worthy of something. And you're able to do something special that no one else in the world can do. Are you ready to go out there and take what's yours? Yeah! What you worked hard for?
Yeah! All of us in life have things we want. We don't get what we want. We get what we have to have. We all get what we tolerate in ourselves and other people. But when you're no longer willing to tolerate something, that's when your life changes. Everyone in the world has a list of things they think they should do. I should lose weight. I should work out. I should spend more time with my kids. I should work harder. I should make more calls. I should. And then you know what? People don't do their shoulds and they get mad at themselves. They beat themselves up about it. What changes people is when your should becomes a must. When suddenly the thing you said should happen has to happen. That's when human beings change. It's like if you want to take the island and you're the head of the army and you want to take the island, the most powerful way to take the island is burn the boats. Because if there's no way to go back, it's amazing what happens when it's a must to do something versus a should. That's what makes human beings succeed.
Ego is the success inhibitor. You have to do your best not to make decisions based off of ego, for sure.
Success and failure are generally slow processes. Either slowly building things up or gradually tearing them down. And that's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch. You have to watch every single second. Because those seconds, they turn into minutes. And minutes turn into hours, and hours turn into days, and days turn into years. And so, That second that just went by, that counted. And so did that second. And so did that one. And in those precious seconds, you were either building or you were decaying. You were either gaining ground or you were losing ground. In that second. And in every second. Every second counts. So, make every second count.
The dream shattered, sent home with $7 in my pocket. I was like, wait, no, I gotta play in the NFL eventually. Those are my big goals, that's my dream. You realize that playing in the NFL was the best thing that never happened, because it got me here. So my point is, look, you're gonna get your ass kicked, we're gonna get the shit kicked out of us. You gotta get up, you gotta have faith that the one thing you wanted to happen oftentimes is the best thing that never happened. So have faith and just keep that in mind and keep plugging away.
This is it. The day you've been waiting for. I know you're nervous. So am I. My first game too. Now it's time to go out there and put it on the scoreboard. Now it's time to see who has the heart. Now is the time to prove to yourselves and prove to everyone out there that even though you're locked up, you are somebody. You are worthy of something. And you're able to do something special that no one else in the world can do. Ready to go out there and take what's yours. Yeah! What you worked hard for. Yeah!
But one thing that a lot of people don't know that I want to share with you guys is when I was 22 years old, I came to this city for the first time. I was playing in the Canadian Football League, playing my first pro football game. I was playing for the Calgary Stampeders. We were playing the BC Lions. I was so excited. 2 days later, I got cut. The dream shattered, sent home with $7 in my pocket. I was like, wait, no, I gotta play in the NFL eventually. Those are my big goals, that's my dream. You realize that playing in the NFL was the best thing that never happened, because it got me here. So my point is, look, you're gonna get your ass kicked, we're gonna get the shit kicked out of us. You gotta get up, you gotta have faith that the one thing you wanted to happen oftentimes is the best thing that never happened. So have faith, and just keep that in mind and keep plugging away.
Double. I knew I wanted to be something, and it was important to me to be something. It was important to me that I didn't fail. But by the way, and if I did fail, at least what was also important was the lesson. And I didn't realize that until I got older, because you know, when you're in it, you're in the grind, you don't really recognize those things when you're younger, but I could recognize them now and the importance of them now. And just in terms of the drive and the determination, a lot of it was experience too. You get your ass kicked, you get back up, and you put the gloves back on and you swing away.
Oftentimes when I see kids and they have been labeled, oh, they're punk kids. True. But there's good in them, and we got to see that potential, and I enjoy that today, seeing the potential in kids just like he did, especially kids who are kind of wayward and have been going through it. I know what it's like. Our most powerful and most important is when we just embrace who we are. It's just believing in yourself and, and embracing who you were born to be. Whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way, when we were talking in London, I was getting up at 3 because I had to be on set by 4. So whatever time my call time is, those and directors and our producers, whatever time my call time, so my call time is at 7, then you back your clock up 4 hours, and then that's when I get up and train twice. I get up super early. Generally, I have this thing where I like beating the sun up, not just in terms of before the sun comes up, I have to get up. And how do I do it? It's just important to find balance, and I try and do things really that I really enjoy
doing. And a lot of times, you know, it's like in life, right? Life brings like drama, and you got to deal with this person, and then you funk your relationship here, and all these things. Work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if there's a golden rule. I can tell you this, that I believe anything is possible, right? I live in the world of possibility. And I also believe that we can accomplish anything with our two hands and just putting in the work with our two hands. And also, you hear this often, but it's really, really true. You gotta find something, if you love what you do and be passionate about what you do and find something that you can be passionate like, it really helps. You know, it gives you that motivation when you wake up in the morning. Consistently being told that whatever it is that you want to do, you've got to get after it. You got to get after it. There's no substitute for hard work. Hard work always pays. You know, those type of mantras over time. And those are your examples of you know, what it's like to get beat down, what it's like to get, just in terms of the struggle, what it's like to be evicted out of your apartment, what it's like to have your car repossessed, and watch your parents go through that is I think is defining as a kid.
You know, I grew up, there was a period of time where I was making a lot of mistakes, David. I was getting arrested multiple times. By the time I was 16, I was arrested maybe 7 or 8 times. Fighting theft, doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. I was really lucky that I had a couple of people who, along with my parents, who saw the potential in me even when I didn't see the potential in me. And it wasn't until I got older, had a little bit of luck, a little bit of success, that I started to understand the value and the power of someone giving back.
Some people call you the best pure athlete in wrestling today. Let's start off with a bit of your history. When you broke in, you were packaged as a part of a wrestling legacy. Your father is Rocky Johnson, or Sweet Ebony Diamond, as Canadian fans know him. Tony Atlas was a family friend, all kinds of family roots. Were you ever concerned that you wouldn't get your chance to prove yourself on your own terms?
No. I was never ever concerned about that, because nor was I ever concerned about trying to fill their shoes, because my dad's, they were just too big, you know, my grandfather as well. But at the same time, I always knew that one day, whenever I got the opportunity, I was just gonna make it happen. Persistence and hard work. I knew one day it was gonna happen. When I made up my mind to get involved in the business that I have a passion for, that I grew up in, I knew that there's gonna be a time where the success will come. And that's through hard work and consistency. It's you know, the same old story, things like that. So it's surprising to a degree, but I was well aware that it was going to happen.
You know, there are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time, and there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were, if they spoke their being forward.
Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, "Who's your hero?" And I said, "I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks." I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, "Who's your hero?" I said, "I thought about it. You know who it is?" I said, "It's me in 10 years.
I didn't start out thinking, this is going to replace my income. This is going to be, I just did it as a passion project. And I think if people have a regular day job, if you could just find one thing that you do as a passion project and just keep building on it, just keep watering it, keep adding fertilizer, keep giving it attention, keep giving it focus.
So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, "So are you a hero?" And I was like, "Not even close." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away."
It's soul killing. They're stuck in traffic all day, and then they're stuck in a cubicle after that. There are so many people that are working all day long doing something that is deeply unsatisfying and almost painful to them.
And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that.
I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing.
The winners do it. They do it, and do it, and do it, and do it, until the job gets done.
You know, if you take people, and I've told you this, and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, you know, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like?
So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, "So are you a hero?" And I was like, "Not even close."
I was 41 years old. I was unemployed. Closed the second restaurant. It was an $800,000 loss. I mean, that meant our entire home equity line. It meant kids' college. I get just choked up just thinking about how terrifying it was. And so I found myself at the age of 41, like, just feeling like a complete failure.
And so you could say, well, in part, perhaps the reason that you're suffering unbearably can be left at your feet, because you're not everything you could be, and you know it.
You knew that there was more in store for you, but you couldn't figure out, how do you close the gap? How do you find the power that's in you? How do you discover your greatness? How do you solve these problems?
And people that are trapped in bad situations, one of the problems is you feel like this is your future and you can't get out of that. There's no hope. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no rainbow. And if you feel like that, that alone can be incredibly defining and limiting.
And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient? 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient.
How hard do you actually work? Meaning what the audience doesn't see. How hard do you actually work, DJ?
Hard. You have to work hard. Everybody in this room knows if it's worth something to you, you got to put in the effort. And you know, the tricky thing, as we know with social media, is you let people in a little bit, you let them in on what you want them to see, but at the end of the day, I always feel like social media may be the tip of the iceberg that you allow people to see, but it's everything underneath the water that they don't see. And I always like to say it's the work we put in when nobody's watching that really matters. Got to put in the work. How hard do I work? I work hard. The person I compete with most is just me. It's you versus you. When I wake up in the morning, I have got to be running towards the thing that I want to do and not walking towards it, not, oh, I really don't feel like doing this, or God, why did I agree to do this, or why did I get into this business with somebody at such, I got to be running to it. We're lucky boys to be able to get to do what we do, but man, the work ethic, the drive, that hunger to compete, it never goes away. I've gotten really lucky and fortunate over the years to have accomplished what I've been able to accomplish, but again, the hunger doesn't go away. I like to say I got a full plate, but I could always make room for the stuff I love. And I've reached that point in my life, reached this point in my career where I started to realize, oh, you know, I've done pretty good, and we're sitting up top on this mountain. A few things can happen from here. I've reached this point in my life. We could either stay here and enjoy the view and bask in it, or we could go back down the mountain, right off into the sunset. And I thought, well, the first two don't seem like it's in my DNA. I know what we should do. Let's go build more mountain. So I think for me, the drive just comes from wanting to do more. I can trace back my my work ethic to We were evicted out of we had a little efficiency apartment in Hawaii, and we were evicted out of there, couldn't pay the rent. The rent was $280 a month. We eventually got kicked out. When we got kicked out, I was 15 years old. I'll never forget it. I was standing there at the door. There was not the padlock, but the notice. And if any of you have had this unfortunate experience, you get evicted, they tell you in a week you gotta go. If you don't, then the Honolulu Police Department will come and they'll escort you out. In that moment, I saw my mom crying, and because I'm a mama's boy, and that kind of pain really impacted me. And I thought then, I wanna do everything that I can to make sure we never get evicted like this again, and make sure that she's never this upset again. Thank you. You know, and that then I thought, I didn't even know what that meant at 15 years old. It just meant I have to work. I have to work. I have to do something with my own two hands. So I have a philosophy these days that you got to put in the work with our own two hands, because this is the stuff that you can control. We control the controllables, as we say. The other part is a competitive nature that is in my DNA, and it's in my blood, just like it runs in all of our constitution and our makeup here, where I love the competition, I love to win, and I also love to learn. I don't say lose, I say I love to learn. So I would say it's a combination of that. For me, the work ethic comes from, I never want to be evicted again, which is probably why I need therapy. And the other side to that is a competitive nature. And that competitive nature, that never goes away. If I'm able to do that, get up in the morning and run to it, then I'm in that place of joy and happiness. Doesn't mean that the work goes away, the work ethic goes away, you work even harder. For a long time, what I used to do is think audience first. That was important, and it served me very well. I started to realize, though, but I'm not running towards this particular thing. So what I realized is now it has to be the thing that I do, has to be the thing that I love to do, and therefore, almost like Hollywood conformed years ago, I found that if it's the thing I'm running to and I love to do, then everybody comes with me.
What do you think that comes from? Like, is it duplicatable, or is it you either have it in your DNA or you don't?
I think there's versions of it that are duplicatable, and but we all go through our own journey and process. So there's something I think that we all can tap into that becomes our juice and our wiring. For me, you bring up my old man. My dad was a professional wrestler at a time when professional wrestling, I think, wasn't as globally renowned as it is today. When I decided to get into professional wrestling, we had the biggest fight about it. And ultimately he said, look, I'm not too sure if you have anything to offer. I mean, it got to that level. I understand what he meant in his limited capacity to love. He meant, look, I live in this little apartment in Tampa. I don't want this life for you. I think there's more for you out there. And I said, yeah, but I got to follow my gut and my instinct. So I bring that up to say, along the road of life, we always have these moments that are seminal moments where somebody, sometimes it's a loved one like my old man, sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's a boss, sometimes it's a stranger who says, you can't do it, you're not good enough, don't even try, pack your stuff and go home. What I realized at that time was there was a lot of naysayers and there was a lot of cynicism as I was getting into Hollywood, and I get it, because you were successful in another place and now Hollywood comes knocking and now you want to try and come in and make a name for yourself in Hollywood. They said, if you really want to make it in Hollywood, then you can't call yourself The Rock, you got to lose weight, don't talk about wrestling, you have to look and walk and talk and act like these guys, and these guys are the biggest stars in the world at that time. Johnny Depp, Will Smith, etc. If you don't know any better, you buy into that stuff, like I bought into that back then. But then you start to realize something starts to eat at your gut about, well, this just doesn't feel right because I'm not being authentic, I'm not being myself. So finally, I said, a few years later, I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to be myself. Had a big meeting at the agency. I said, I'd like to have the same career as these guys, only bigger and different, and I mean it respectfully. they all looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I have a big enough head as it is. So they looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I said, listen, The Rock is a pretty cool name. And I love wrestling. And I'm also proud of where I came from this world of pro wrestling, where it's my dad and my grandfather. And I have a lot of family in pro wrestling. Just because it's never been done doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means we got to figure out a different path.